This show is brought to you by the Local Enterprise Authority, LEA, the go-to guys in business.
Primetime Life.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Primetime Life. Now, the Local Enterprise Authority, or LEA, recently established the Industry Support Facility to assist the informal sector. Let's join a few of those people by Longhorekiba Kwabopotlan and find out how business has been ever since they benefited from the ISF.
Primetime Life.
COVID-19 has thus far left more and more businesses vulnerable to financial and operational constraints. This being the case, the government, through the Local Enterprise Authority, or LEA, took a decision to roll out or put forward an industry support facility that was meant to help the informal sector from the effects of this pandemic. To appreciate that growth since benefiting from the industry support facility, LEA, together with Primetime Life, visited some of these informal businesses. Now, there's a strange belief that when something is headquartered in Gaborone, and therefore cannot be accessed by anybody else except for Haloko Gaborone. That's not the case with the Local Enterprise Authority. And I say this because right now, Remole Tlhakane, the region, we were actually going to appreciate graduates from that training program, as well as the industry support fund beneficiaries. Join me, let's go see who we're talking to. The Industry Support Fund is a relief support for individuals who are fully dependent on their informal businesses for livelihoods. Only informal businesses registered with the LEA SMME registration database are able to receive the funds. Upon learning that there is an informal sector fund and receiving a message from LEA, Meki Lamanglesero filed the application form and submitted it to the nearest LEA branch.
Sale ke dirile ka 2015 me tota tshimologo ya yone ke 2012 ngwana a bona ke ntse ke tsaya metsoko ke ba kuntung ke tsa mo gongwe ke ba kuntung ngwana o teng ga go ke itumetse mo salagae a ba a tata dipolanka go bene le nyetata ene le potana thata ke itumetsa ba tata dipolanka hela ka phakela senyolla ha kgaola a ba dira dipolanka teng ha mme gora ba re mama a tsa madi 300 wa gagwe go reka ka matsogo a gagwe a bo a ta tsenya mo lopeng o simolotse ka dibonji go temo go 20 bonji mo go bohua hunelwa lemo a ba reka ta tsa re mama ke bona gore o batla go rekisa taya ha o to rekisa mme boamaruri hela jo boteng ke ne ke bo iha botsotsi se se golo mo go nna mme pelo yone e rata gore nka rekisa ka seka ka tshwenya bongwanake ka boa ka taka tsena ha ka simolla go nna ke kotama ha ke rekisa a dirile hela counter hela ya ka go dirile mogolo nna ntse ke ta ke rekisa maitsibo a ke tšhaisa ke rekisa maitsibo a ke tšhaisa o ntheketse ga nna gabedi irile le a ba lesa ke be ke simolla go ithekela nna ntse ke reka mme kgwebo e batla bopelotelele se segolo ya tsalelwa ke neo ga se selo se se tanghela o kgatiwa ke o mongwe e ka nna teng ya go kgathega mo go yo mongwe o bota o kotama jaaka ene mme o bo le kele thoko o bo le pelotelele ke be ke utlwa mo radiong ka phakela go buiwa gore go na le madi a gormente o rileng ngwanela batho ba ba neng ba rekisa mme anong o bona gore ba dikgwebopotana ba tsholetse jaanong irile hela go te madi mo LEA ka gore ne ke na le madi a ke a kokoteditseng ke batla go dira mo go thwagetseng mo le ne go mpuisa ile gore botsotsi jaanong le mo gongwe ha bata ke a boketsa ba ke boia bana ba teng ba nna hela go nna batho ntse ba bua ba reta re lengwe letsatsi la matsatsi ha batho ba heta ha dikolintsi di hetana di ta go rwala le ka manoko le ka diotso mme ka jalo ba ne ba phekola Ha ke utlwa ka Lea ngwana ba setse ebile a direla mosadi semalusunyana gore a dira ba re mama ke ntsha gote go tshwanela ke ntsha mo ga dipalanka ngwana ba ntsha nya lebeke ga ya tsa a ba setsa dirile a kopantse a dirile go godi.
With the funds received from Leah, Melesego has been able to keep her business afloat and recover from the effects that COVID-19 has had on her business. MK Tuck Shop was also one of the businesses assisted by Leah through the Industry Support Fund. The tuck shop, which is owned by Me Matalena Kikelami, has managed to use the 1,000 Pula funds to recover from the effects that COVID-19 has had on the business.
Ni simologile go le thata ya lentle e tsamaya ema le ka bobotana le ka one madi ya tase le go godimo mme ka ke ne ke na le lerato la kgwebo e ne ke wa ntse ke tsoga ya ne go a ntse ke leka ka pata yane jaanong ka ke ne ke na le ba bukile seemone se le bokete gore isa dikolong e mo ka moso ke se mme ke lebile yone ka nako ya teng le monna mogolo na a sa direke ha ngwana hela re nya ka nako sekolong ga 1-2 gona go ke tsante ka be ke phutha mathebe a mabunya a eng ke re ngwana a tswedise sekolo ke one ya neng thengwa a nkisa tase mme rata hela re totoba go ithela e le mo seemong se o bona e le mo go sone ka gore ke bua jaana ngwana ke wa kohejane o na hetsa form 5 mme ke setse ke thuswa ke bo mogolo ka ne ba bereka ke gone kgwebo e jaaka o e bona e ntse jaana le ka thuso yone ya madi a kgwebo tse dipotana Buseneke motsere ke tsalla ka seemo sone se ke tserhela morago ga ngwe ka nna bo 3 months ke ga go kgakalanyana go tsa Buseneke o ne re thuswa ka go tsosolosa dikgwebo tsa rona tse dipotana re ne ra utlwa mo di-radio le mo di-TV re helela ha ngwe o ithana o ntse gore ano go ta bona ka nyagala hela se lengwe mokaulengwe yo mongwe nthare hela o go sikinyega ga to madi a tsewa ko le yakwa ke be ke a go goroga ko le ya ga ke tsana kwa ka tseneng di tsere lessons ke tsere nyame ba nkamogela ke fila form event ba re mara 7 days o ta bo bona madi ao nna go le 7 days ga a wela ka be ke bile ke bona madi ao ke oketsa mo ntse ke na le gone.
Primetime Life.
Leah e thusa dikgwebo tse dipotlana ka 1,000 pula go dinamola mo manokonokong a COVID-19. Fa o amogetse SMS go tswa kwa Leah, e kopanye le ofisi ya Leah kgotsa motlabo wa dibuka o gaufi go tsenya kopo ke gore application. Go tlhokega moriti wa umang o netefaditsweng le hawker's license kgotsa mokwalo wa maikano o rurifaditsweng ke kgosi kana ba sepodisi. Moikopedi gape o ka tlatsa dipampiri tsa ikopelo mo maranyaneng a www.leah.co.bw/publications a bo a di romela kwa isf2020@leah.co.bw. Bagwebi ba ba iseng ba ikwadisi ba ka dira jalo kwa tsebeng ya SME registration.leah.co.bw. Mogwebi re go tlhoma kwa pele.
Primetime Life.
After the outbreak of COVID-19, Mrs. Lorato Dumetse's business, which sells second-hand clothes and school uniforms, began to experience a slowdown in terms of sales. But after hearing from radio and receiving telephonic messages that informed her about the fund, Meu Dumetse filed the informal sector fund application form and received the money within 7 working days.
Second hand, thata ke be mo second hand diaparo tsa di season tse tsotlhe hela ke rekisa le diaparo tsa bana ba sekolo uniform ka we bona ke rekisa uniform be ke rekisa le di product tsa Noland di second hand ke tsweng tse di cheap go di bona gape di cheape gona gore go cheape gore o di bona, go cheape go di rekisa, e be go nna bogadi bogadi gore batho ba di reke. Go na le dilo tse dišwa o di bona ka bonako, go na le dilo tse dišwa. Dikgwetlho tse ke kopanang natso ke gone gore yaka o bona gore a ke re ke mo lebaleng hela yana, ga go tsena nako ya dipula gore re ke a phutha ke nna ko lapeng, ga go tsena nako ya diphego a ka bona ditante di kgagoga. Ke tsone dikgwetlho tse ke kopanang le tsone. Maikaelelo a me a ke tsena mo businesseng ne ke batla go ipona gongwe after bo 2 years ke setse ano ke butse ya me shopo, ke rekisetsa mo teng ga shop, be ke kgona gore ke gole le e nne nna yanong ke sa plan batho ka tsone di-second hand ka re ke tsone tse ke ganeletseng thata mo go tsone. Yaanong e rile corona e tsena sengwe le sengwe beng kete se awa yaanong. Le ya re kopane le yone last year le ya ba re sendetse di-message tsa gore ba batla go thusa ba go ipotana, mme ba ne ba dira yalo. Nnyaa gone mmela nthana bontsi ya rona ne re tsaya gore gongwe ke ba re scam, gongwe ke scam hela ba batla gone hela gore ba ikgathe ka rona, but mme nna ke ne ka sa ka e tsaya e le scam, ke na ka thwagala ka dira se neng ba se bata ka nako e dilo tse neng ba di bata ke ne ka di dira, ka followa di-steps tsa teng tsotlhe. Tota ne ba sa bate sepe se se ntsi hela, ke gakologelwa sentle ne ba bata hela go itse gore kgwebo e dirang ke a eng, o na le lebaka le le kae o e dira, e ne e go direla bokae mo ngwageng kana mo kgweding. Ke sone se ne ba batla go se itse hela ba helela ba gore ba re register gore ba te ba go thuse ka sengwenyana. Ke madi a ne ke sa sologela, mme gape ne ntse ke boleletse gore ke madi a re ta re hiwa o bo re ithusa mo kgwebong. Yaanong e rile hela ba nnela ke bo ke tatsa ka mo go aneng ke a tshwere, cause di beile di a tura malatsing, di ja bo 3.5 bo 4,000 1,000 wa teng o ne a nthusa gore ke tatse mo bailing e ne ke neng ka go e reka.
Primetime Life.
Now, on the 23rd of June, we are supposed to be celebrating, commemorating the International Women's Day in Engineering. Recently, we joined a new era for a round table to unpack that. Let's find out what was happening at the round table.
Primetime Life.
Recently, New Era College of Arts, Science and Technology held a first-of-its-kind roundtable talk under the theme, A New Generation of Women in Engineering. The core mandate of the roundtable talk was to discuss and exchange ideas with other women in engineering space, as well as to inspire young girls out there to pursue a career in the field of engineering.
With the notion of paving way for younger generation of women in engineering, today we get the privilege of joining New Era College for the first ever roundtable talk on women in engineering.
The roundtable talk, which also happened to be a precursor to the celebration of International Women's Day in Engineering, celebrated all over the world on the 23rd of June, was graced by the Minister of Nationality, Immigration and Gender Affairs, Anna Mokheti, and other women from various engineering organizations.
New Era College's vision is to be a leading engineering and technology training research institution aimed at promoting sustainable economic and social development. Ladies and gentlemen, gender affairs and equality is a pressing need not only in our nation, but at the world at large. This has always been a priority for New Era College, not only as an institution of learning, but as responsible members of the community. Engineering, along with other technical fields in STEM, continues to lack equal representation amongst men and women. This reality is also starkly reflected in our academic institutions. As we grow and evolve as a society, it is imperative that our institutions provide opportunities for the girl child and women and avail access and empower the girl child learners to embrace engineering programs and not to undermine their potential.
Primetime Life. Primetime Life.
Some of the issues that were unpacked during the roundtable talk were primarily aimed at educating and inspiring the girl child to get into various fields of engineering. The discussions were also aimed at celebrating strides women have made in the traditionally male-dominated field of engineering.
There's actually a lot of research that has shown that a big reason why a lot of young girls or women do not go into STEM fields is linked back to their experiences in early education. So if we from ages of 3 and 4 and 5 and beyond in primary school, if we don't break those stereotypes of engineering being robots being a boys thing or a boys sport, then we fall into that same trap and we repeat history over and over again. And I think it also goes all the way to tertiary, with our guidance counselors, with the teachers, our parents. We really need to encourage young girls and women to get into these fields, because there is a huge potential that we're overseeing by just saying that, for example, arts is just a field for girls, or business, but not these technical fields. I wanted to just also maybe ask other panel members their experiences of how can we pursue the girl child. I think sensitization is a huge one. I think there's other ones that we can explore.
We are living in a patriarchal society, a society in which socio-cultural norms reinforces, the gender roles. The gender roles that say to us, these are the kind of careers that you should follow. This is supposed to be your career path, which results in young girls at an early age opting to go for softer courses, the courses that are more into nurturing and caring. And these traditional laws reinforce that stereotype, hence affecting and influencing participation, aspirations, and achievement of girls in the STEMs, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects. So that is the kind of environment that the young girl is exposed to. And hence why we see there has been a study which was conducted. And this study suggested that, and this study is in the International Journal of Electrical Engineering Education, which looked into Botswana and found that only 11.1% of engineering students were female in the University of Botswana. So you can see that there's very low participation in the field of engineering in Botswana.
I acknowledge and I appreciate New Era College for considering having this discussion, and also for specifically having a college that is very much on STEM. I'm a STEM advocate, I like to call myself that, and I get to the ground where I see the disparity within the gender. And this became very clear to me. We had a project in a township in Cape Town, Kailicha, and we started with, can children draw robots? We do a lot of work in robotics. Can you just draw, what do you think a robot is? And they all drew a robot and a boy. And we looked at, there's no child that drew a robot and a girl. And I also see it when I go for workshops or seminars. When you're being introduced, everybody wants to look at a woman in robotics. What does a woman know about robots, And looking at, I'm sure some of you, especially men in the room, robots are very much associated with Terminator, Spider-Man, especially in Africa where this is still new to us. You don't expect to see a woman doing that. So, getting back to answer your question, there's a lot that's going on, there's a lot that's being done. I still have to emphasize it's not enough. We need to rise up, we need to sensitize the girl child. But then I would go back to the old adage, the African proverb where we say, it takes a village to raise a child. We can't do this alone. We need the private sector, we need families, we need communities, we need NGOs, we need global communities, we need the government, policymakers.
Instead of telling a girl child that you are supposed to be a homemaker, we should build that confidence and the trust. They should learn to trust themselves. And from there, once we reach the primary, tertiary, they complete their studies related to engineering, whatever they would like to do, let them do it. And after they finish, when they get into the industry, that's where the real challenge is. Like she mentioned, it is like how my colleague was mentioning, that is a real challenge, because even after, like when I was doing my degree, I had only one girl child doing mechanical engineering out of 60. But even now, we have the same situation. But once they complete that mechanical engineering, which is considered to be the men's world, when they come out, when they finish that studies, what is really happening? That is the reality. So the industry or the workplace, that should also change, and they should be inclusive.
It starts from the classroom. When a girl child gets an A+ or maybe gets a first class, celebrate her. Find out how she got it, and maybe it will also help you. Then another thing is, don't see your challenge, don't see the problems that you face as a challenge. See it as a stepping stone for you to get to the top. Let it not discourage you. Because if you overcome your challenges, you obviously, be able to achieve your goals.
Men will always try to protect a woman, no matter what. It's in them, it's in them. But sometimes you just have to explain to them that, okay, give me a chance to do it. Because for them, if they see me lifting up a solar panel and then going up with it, it's sort of like, hey, and they always say that, hey, you are a woman, just then my wife comes around and then he sees me letting a woman lifting all this heavy stuff. They feel pity. Sometimes it's sort of like they feel pity for a woman. So I think us as women, we should always try to explain to them that, okay, just give me a chance, and then you watch as I do, you guide me. When you tell them that, they will understand. But if you just let them do that, they will continue doing that to you. So that's one thing that I have learned. It's their nature. So we need to explain to them, give us a chance.
Also taking part in the roundtable talk were the New Era engineering students. The students shared their testimonies of how the college has helped to shape their perception on engineering and how it has prepared them for the industry.
I'm happy about how I see the number of girls in our school. The numbers are improving. There are girls who are doing the engineering course in school, which is quite impressive. Unlike the old days, we knew that the engineering course is mostly for men, but nowadays we see ladies as one of them. And again, I would say as an engineering student and classes with ladies, we are doing well. There's no difference between a lady and a guy in class. We are the same. Yeah, things are changing. It is no longer like those old days where we know that men are known to be with the engineering course. Of course, yes, there is still that culture that is rooted, that we believe that men are dominating and they are known to be doing the courses of engineering. Yeah, it is there because even nowadays, the engineering course is believed, or it is known to be one of the toughest course. So as you know, ladies, they are believed to be those people who love the soft courses or who love the light works. So that is why we even see in schools that men or boys are still dominating over girls, yet things are improving.
I've always felt like education is lagging behind compared to what is going on in the industry or out there in the field. When I got this exposure, I found out that in New Era we are taught advance from what is already existing out there. So we have a chance to go and make change in the world.
The roundtable talk speaks to the core of what New Era College aims to achieve, which is to promote the inclusion of the boy and the girl child in the engineering space.
We at New Era, we have got a strategic plan in which we have highlighted growing the student population as a key result, one of the key result areas. And it is in there that we are going to target growing specifically the women, the girl child population at a new era. We haven't developed targets yet, but we are aware that there are disparities in terms of the numbers that are available. We've got more men than we have women. But what is interesting is that at the end of the day, where examinations are concerned, our women students compete head-on with our gentlemen or men.
Primetime Life.
And that's how we come to the end of the show. Thank you so very much for joining us. And thank you to the Grand Palm for allowing us to actually hang out with them right here. Don't forget to always sanitize, always wear your mask when in public, and social distance at all times when out in public. Or don't even go anywhere if you don't have any business going out. Don't forget, most importantly, say no to all kinds of violence. Good night.
This show was brought to you by the Local Enterprise Authority, LEA, the go-to guys in business.